Makoto Shinkai's new blockbuster anime, Suzume no Tojimari, released in Japan on November 11, 2022. Fans living outside of Japan will have to wait until the international release in early 2023. However, since Japan Bound is on the ground, we are here to give you our full rundown of the plot. Suzume, a high school second year, has a weird dream where she sees a scene from her childhood. She's in a snow-filled area with no one else around. She sees herself as a small child and she is hugging a chair and is all alone. Pause. Unmute. Loaded. 1.22%. Remaining time -54.25. Full screen. The Zone. Survival Mission Press Conference, full veer. She wakes up and bikes to school where she passes a young man in his early 20s. She stares at him because she finds him good looking and she feels like she's seen him before. They pass each other and he stops her and asks her if she's seen a door nearby. Of course, she doesn't know what he's talking about. Then he says, "Is there an abandoned building or area nearby?" And she says there is an abandoned area around an old onsen nearby. He thanks her and walks away. She bikes to school but stops and for some reason is compelled to go find him. She goes to the area she directed him to, but she doesn't find him there. In the ruins of the old community, she enters what's left of an old onsen. There is water pooled on the ground and she sees a door and doorframe in the middle of the onsen ruins. It looks completely out of place, so she walks toward it and opens the door. On the other side, she sees a celestial star-filled night sky and a grassy hill. She walks through it but she ends up on the other side of the door frame in the onsen. It seems like she can see the other side of the door, but can't walk into that world. On the floor, she nearly trips over a weird stone statue. She picks it up and it looks like an ancient statue of a cat. Suddenly, the statue turns into a drenched white cat. Startled, she lets go and the cat runs away. Freaked out, she runs away and goes to school, leaving the door open. She gets back to school and her friends tease her for being late. During lunchtime, she looks out the classroom window and sees smoke in the mountains. She points it out to her friends saying there might be a fire. Her friends look out, but say they don't see anything. Suddenly all the students' cell phones blare a siren, warning of an earthquake. It's a common tone all Japanese are familiar with. The earthquake isn't very strong and passes by. Meanwhile, Suzume looks out the window again and the smoke has turned into a large pillar of smoke, taking the shape of a cylindrical tube. She stares at it in horror, but her friends say they still don't see anything. She frantically hurries back to the abandoned area and the smoke is getting larger and larger in the sky. By the time she gets to the onsen, the smoke has taken the shape of a monster akin to the Stranger Things spider monster. There, she sees that the red-black smoke is pouring out of the door she left open and the man she passed by that morning is trying his best to close it. The force is so strong that he's thrown onto his back. Suzume goes to help him up and he tells her to run away, as it's too dangerous. The man runs to the door and tries to close it again. Instead of running away, Suzume throws herself against the door. The man chants some phrases, incantation, and the key he wears around his neck starts to glow. Finally, the two shut the door and a magical lock appears. The man shoves his key into the lock and turns it. The smoke disappears and things are normal again. The man's arm is bleeding, as it seems he was cut during the commotion. Suzume takes him to her home and bandages him up, saying it'd be very hard to explain what happened at a hospital. They introduce themselves and he explains that it's his job to travel Japan and find those turns and return them, or else the world will end. He says the doors appear in places that people have abandoned. It's a job that's been passed down in his family. So he has no choice but to do it. Suddenly a cute white cat appears at Suzume's window. She brings it food and water. Then, suddenly, it speaks and tells Suzume that it loves her. The cat looks at the man, Soda, and says he's in their way. The cat, which they call Daijin, minister, in the rest of the film, turns Soda into Suzume's childhood baby chair. As the chair, Soda can talk as normal and move the chair's legs as if they were his own. The cat runs away and the two chase it all the way onto a boat that is headed for Ehime. During the chase, people see a chair moving on its own chasing a runaway cat and the images blow up on social media. On the boat, the cat says he will open more and more gates around Japan and then jumps off the ferry onto a faster, smaller boat. Since they can't chase him anymore, they decide to get something to eat on the boat. Suzume's auntie, her guardian, asks where she is and Suzume lies saying she's staying at a friend's house for the night and not to worry. Her auntie is angry and tells her to come home ASAP. On the boat, Suzume enjoys a cheap meal while Sota watches, as he can't eat and doesn't get hungry while he's in chair form.